Well, after a wild short track Saturday night last weekend at the Colorado Motor Speedway, let's run it back, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the other side of the United States of America, to the famous South Boston Speedway here in Virginia. This is the as fast as Xfinity 10G 500. The season continues to kick into high gear as we continue our little short track spree that we have been on the past couple of races here, and it's going to get very, very exciting here this weekend here for some Sunday racing at the South Boston Speedway. Shane Van Gisbergen maintains his point lead over Ludovic Charette, but she cut that lead in half. We're well under a race between the two of them now. This 41 points separates the 51 from the 311. Matt Tuck lost some ground in the points. He's 94 points back. Pato O'Ward with that big-time runner-up finish last weekend at Colorado moves up to only 123 points back in the championship. Braden Perez is 126 back. Connor Zilic is starting to close in there. That top of the points battle, it's getting closer and closer, and I think it's going to get very much closer here today because Charette and Van Gisbergen are both starting out in the back of the pack and have their ways to work through the field here today. Well, welcome along back, folks, to AG, the channel here for our second ever Stock Car World Cup race. And with that, we have two new guests here in the booth joining us today, Eddie Dobbs and team principal of Pacific Racing, Brendan Wilmington. And Brendan, I'm going to kick it to you. You guys have won here before at South Boston. You've always had really, really fast cars. The Toyotas are always really strong here. You don't have anybody starting in the... You have Caleb Rose starting in the top 10. All of your cars up here in the top 20. What is going to be the strategy here for your guys today to potentially get a victory?
Well, we've had the short tracks figured out for a bit. If you guys remember Wawa Cup Series last year, the Pacific cars usually this is our wheelhouse pretty much. So, and I think I think the goal here is to just kind of stay out of trouble first things first, but also to get to the front, you definitely want to go to that inside lane, and that's the preferred line at most of these short tracks. So that's first priority there is getting down to the bottom, and definitely because there's not going to be a lot of space on this racetrack. Guys are going to be getting into each other, so just getting ahead of the soup is definitely something you need to do here. Kyle Larson had a really good rally at the end of the Colorado race, so we definitely need him to do something similar here today.
And Eddie, I mean, we've seen the past couple of races, you know, the big guns always come out on these short tracks. But the short tracks always also bring out some some guys who you don't always expect to put on some strong guys or girls. I mean, Dorian Pinn had a top 10 last week. If you're thinking here, if you're some of these drivers like Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Dorian Pinn, Nathan Smith, all starting in the top 12, how important is potentially scoring a big-time result here today?
Oh, it's extremely important, especially as you mentioned with Charette and Gisbergen in the back, or at least relatively in the back for their sakes. Like, this is huge. They know they might have to be perfect, but sometimes you just got to be close enough to perfect than anyone else is. I think that's what they understand. They understand this is going to be possibly one of the most important races of their season if they want to ever catch up to Van Gisbergen and Charette. And you got to be thinking, especially for those guys, I mean, all they're focusing on is Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen being 41 points ahead of Charette. At this point, you're just hoping to finish ahead of him and try to close in that gap to him as the provisional leader and just get it as close as possible. So you'd have to imagine, they're going to be fighting for everything. You could see a lot more aggression out of those types of drivers than maybe a Charette or a Tuck or a Perez or a Joseph Newgarden. So I can imagine that things are going to get a real squirrely up at the front if these drivers who are like way in the back of the standings right now start moving their way towards the front.
Well, and segueing into that, two drivers who have shown some pace this season but haven't quite gotten their way to victory lane yet are starting up on the front row here today. Blaine Keys, 11th in points. William Byron, 13th in points. They're both about 100. They're 181 and 182 points back here in the championship hunt. They've both shown race-winning pace, and I think this is going to be a huge result for them. This is the first time Team Penske Williams has scored a pole position On a short track, I believe. I think they have a pole position on a super speedway, and obviously Max Davis once won a pole for them on the road course at Abu Dhabi, but I don't believe they've ever scored a pole position on a short track, so this is a big milestone for them as those Dodges continue to show some strong pace. But with that, it is Blake Keys and William Byron start on row number 1. Row number 2, we find Chase Elliott with his best start of the season. Outside of him, Matt Tuck, who had a strong car at Colorado, but just couldn't seal the deal with some pit stop errors. Row 3, we find Drew Webb and Denny Hamlin, the Virginia native. This is his home This is one of his home races we visit here in his home state. Look out for this man. He had a fast car at Colorado. Row number 4 is Connor Zilisch and Dorian Pinn, who's quietly been very solid this year, is in the top 20 in points, 16th in points for Dorian Pinn. She's been quiet, doesn't have race-winning pace in that 83, but she just keeps showing up and finding ways to get good results. Row number 5 is Caleb Rose and David Malukas. Caleb knows how to get it done here. Way back in the day, and I don't even have it up right now, which is a L on my part, but Caleb and Braden Perez both have been very dominant here in the past. Braden Perez once led the most laps ever in a Stock Car World Cup race at, I believe it was 94 laps he once led in a race, which is the record to this day. Row number 6, we find Nathan Smith and Leah Block, 2 sophomore drivers. Leah Block, obviously, first full season, but 2 sophomore drivers who are very good on the short tracks. Row number 7 is Nicholas Samadio in that red roof-numbered Audi. Alongside of him is Sam Mayer. Row number 8, we find Kyle Larson and Logan Williams, the BMWs, with about a 30 horsepower engine update coming into this weekend. Row number 9, we find some big guns in the championship. Our points leader Shane Van Gisbergen and Joseph Newgarden, who we know knows how to get it done on the short tracks. And then row number 10, we find 2 NS Ganassi cars, Nathan Stapleton and Alex Pillow. We've had a wide variety of winners at this racetrack over the years. Braden Perez won back in season number 1. Back in season number 2, it was Chase Harris who scored the victory. Season number 3, we saw Matt Tuck score the victory along with Ludovic Charette. So it was a Grattan Autosport sweep in season number 3. Season number 4, we saw William Byron seal the deal here. So we've seen winners come from all over the place: Pacific, Hendrick, Grattan. So it's always some big dogs here who show out here at this racetrack, which makes it very, very exciting. Well, we're gonna get these cars rolled off here. 135 laps. We have a mandatory caution at lap 70 due to the pit cycle, the way the pit stop flows here. Brennan and then Eddie, who are we picking to go to victory lane today?
Well, it's going to be tough considering that the contenders are starting mid to back of the pack, but I do think that they can go up through the field. That being said, though, I'm not going to pick one of them. I'm going to pick Connor Zilisch to win.
Well, someone who's had a nice couple of weeks in terms of getting a Wawa Cup Series spot is Nathan Smith. Why wouldn't he show off by having a huge win here at South Boston? Not really a track to go to in the Wawa Cup Series, but it'd be a huge win regardless.
We're going to find out 135 laps for some Sunday afternoon action. Let's run it back and get more short track racing here. We are green at South Boston. Second week in a row, we see the pole sitter get an absolutely monstrous jump here on the start as Blake Keys is going to jump out here to the early lead of that 2 car. Chase Elliott got his way to the bottom. Matt Tuck jumped William Byron, got to the bottom, and he's up to second. Now chasing down after the 2 car of Blake Keys. It's just like Colorado last week. Tuck versus Keys. They're showing out on these short tracks here. Elliott's up to third. Here comes Connor Zilisch. Here comes David Malukas. Denny Hamlin stuck on the outside. Your pick to win, Eddie. Nathan Smith has already moved his way through the field. And here comes SVG, our championship point leader. He's finding his way to the front of the field as he keeps doing in these races, working his way on the bottom here. It's a hornet's nest here, back in the pack. This is not where I want to be here early on in that Virginia traffic.
Absolutely not, and that's what I said at the top of the show. You do not want to be in the hornet's nest. It's going to be very hard to get out of there, and it's very likely that you could end up in an accident considering just how close everyone is to you. As you see the 311 got shuffled up, we got some free wide action, and Ladovic's on the bottom there. That's Pin and I believe Block in the middle, and they're going to sort it out, and that's going to hold up some cars behind as Pin went up the racetrack. But there's barely room for 2 wide here. 3 wide is just asking for it, but Thankfully, they got it sorted out this time. Here comes Zilich knocking on the door of Matt Tuck, trying to get to second. Maybe he'll start using the bumper here. That's something that short tracks are definitely known for. And we saw a little bit of that happen in Colorado as well.
Gotta think for Chevy Hendrick, having Connor Zilich anywhere near the top 3 and fighting the Grattan car is a good sign, as there he goes down the inside of turn 2. Almost thought I saw a little bit of smoke there, but it's not going to matter. Zilich is going to put Tuck on the outside. Tuck's got to get down real quick. He doesn't want whoever that is in the 21, David Malukas, to get down below him. He won't. But yeah, I mean, someone who's gone through Virginia traffic a couple of times in my life, I can say this is just an average afternoon on I-395, so... I mean, what else do you expect? Another thing else, looking 3 wide. Is that someone in the middle back there?
Ooh, I don't know who that was in the middle, but I saw
was.
SVG got put to the outside. Caleb Rose, I can see in the back, is on the outside. Scott McLaughlin started dead last. He's up to 23rd. That 5 car is moving today. Some of the HMS cars are really well hooked up here. Our points leaders are not having a good time with this so far. Van Gisbergen is not moving his way to the front. But here comes Ludovic Charette. Oh, we missed a pass for the lead. It's Connor Zilich. He got by Blake Keys. Now David Malukas is going to try and get by Matt Tuck. It's HMS, Penske Williams, United of Team 29 United, Grattan Autosport, and hello, Braden Perez. Here's a guy who knows how to get it done on the short tracks, and if you haven't been following in the Discord, the BMW's got a massive engine update heading into this race. They got a little more horsepower to help those M4s along, and he's already putting it to work. He got a win at Sonoma. And I think Braden's going to be a big-time threat here to win later on in this go. And Chase Elliott, Nicholas Samadillo in the Audi, not having a good start to the season, but they're looking really strong early here. Ludovic Charette's moving her way up. Nathan Stapleton, Cam Waters is hanging out there. There's Chase Harris. The Audis look really good today. Nathan Smith is still inside the top 10. We got a lot of variety. The big dogs are all up front here, but we have a lot of variety in this top 10, which we love to see on these short tracks.
And you know, it wouldn't be a race on AG the channel without missing a pass for the lead, right?
True.
Matt's gonna make the pass on Malukas for third there, and now Malukas is gonna fall into the clutches of Braden Perez. Back behind them, Ludovic Charette just continues to pass them like it's nothing. She's going for 7th now over the 79 of Nicholas Samadillo. You see the 02 peeking up into the top 10. Definitely a much-needed good run there for, I believe that's Jesse Love in that car. And
that is Nathan Stapleton now.
Oh, it's Stapleton, right. I forgot about that. I'm so used to that being Jesse Love.
No, it's all good.
Top 5 trying to pull away here, and Chase Elliott holding up the fort in that second pack for 6th, but I don't think he's going to be there very long, because that 51 looks like the fastest car on the track right now.
I mean, something that I want to look at in terms of just constructor standings is never mind. Here comes Ludovic. I think, yep, got to the inside turn 3. Sorry. Chase Elliott's just not your day against the Grattan Autosport cars. But speaking of just Grattan Autosport and otherwise the owners, Red Bull Verstappen, Chevrolet Hendrick, both won win and 147 points in the owner standings. And yet, Braden Perez, it seems like he's on a mission to get by Connor Zilich and get his team up to the top 5, especially since United Autosport really isn't performing today. That would be huge if they could get into the top 5 in the owner standings out of nowhere today, but he's going to have to beat Hendrick to get there first.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a very interesting constructors battle as we see David Malukas moving his way up to 3rd. Zilich continues to hold the lead over Blake Keys. Now, I'm going to quickly touch on this Caleb Rose. That is unfortunate to see, hanging out at the back of the pack here. This is a guy who knows how to get it done on the short tracks, but that car is just not coming to him so far. Denny Hamlin's back here. Logan Williams, who won on North Wilkesboro last year, leading 100 laps in a race. Drew Webb. 2 things to touch on here real quick. We're going to get some lap traffic. And as we know at South Boston, that lap traffic, the hunt through the lap traffic is absolutely legendary. It has cost drivers so many times here who have had dominant race cars. And we're going to probably see it on both runs today. So bear that in mind. This opening run is a longer run, but we're going to see lap traffic come into effect on both runs. Now, in the Constructors, it has been a very interesting title fight so far early on in the season in the Constructors, because Shane Van Gisbergen for the single car team leading the points holds down the fort, and he's got a bunch of 4-car teams behind him. But Braden Perez is doing everything he can to drag that BMW squad up there. Logan Williams has pace, it just hasn't been found yet. David Malukas is doing his best to carry Team 29 United. Otter Island Motorsports, if they can hold on, this would be huge for them to get a good day. Meyer Shank Racing has struggled because Leah Block has kind of been inconsistent and Jamie Chadwick hasn't been that good so far this year. Joseph Newgard is moving his way. Let's check it out. Shane Van Gisbergen, by the way, he's in 20th position. This is going to close. If we have a result that's somewhat close to how they're running right now, boys and girls, this is going to get really tight because Zilich, Keys, Perez, Malukas, Tuck, Charette, Waters, Newgarden are all in front of SVG right now. And Brennan, I mean, as we've been saying, there's some people who don't think that this start that Van Gisbergen has been on, it's sustainable. This could be a huge moment in the championship.
Yeah, it definitely can. Gaining on them that much would definitely be huge here today. And making that championship battle a little closer. Here comes Braden Perez going for second now on the 2 of Blaine Keys. And it looks like Perez is going to take the spot in that BMW. And that BMW's engine upgrade's definitely paying off so far, because there are 2 of them in the top 10. The 79 of Samadillo's hanging out back in 7th as well. I also saw Chase Harris was running just outside the top 10. And it looks like he's fallen a little bit since then, but he's still running pretty well. So BMW's running pretty good. But you see the drivers like Tuck, Charette, Keys, and Zilich all gonna gain big on Van Gisbergen unless Van Gisbergen can start a rally here soon. And here comes Zilich. He's catching his teammate there. That's gonna be the first lap car. I believe that's Jack Haas in the 25. So here we go. This is where it starts, and this is when things are gonna start getting really chaotic up front.
This is where I think someone is going to have a benefit, and that benefit goes to Matt Tuck and Ludovic Charette. They're going to be 2 of them together very soon. I imagine Charette's going to get around Malukas. And, you know, Grattan Autosport, one of the best parts about them is that they work as a well-oiled machine when their drivers are at least close to each other, and they can work. They will probably work to push around this pack, just using all that slingshot and draft and whatnot. So I'd imagine that that's going to help them that's going to give them an advantage here if the cars start pulling things up, because realistically, you can push 2 cars around. And Zilich is not just, speaking of not having cohesiveness, look at what he's trying to do to Jack Haas. All right.
That's a teammate.
This time.
That's a teammate, and Braden Perez just closed in about 4/10 in the past 2 laps because Jack Haas held up his teammate, Connor Zilich, who has been pulling away from the field, but he caught the back of that 25 car. The 25 didn't want to give, and this is why we come to South Boston, folks. I know some people are like, why do you come to a track that you can't even like get proper green flag pit stops on, that you have to throw a caution just to be able to maintain the cycle? We come here for this. This cycling through the lap cars, it is some of the best short track racing that we get. Just this mad dash scramble, drivers cutting in and out of the lap traffic, trying to gain up time. It is so much fun to watch and see. And we're going to get to see it at the end of the race. It's going to be huge in the end of the race because the second stint of this race is going to be shorter than the first. So your opportunities are going to be limited in that second run of the race. Perez is still doing a good job, though, chasing down Zilich. Zilich is catching some of these Toyotas. Larson, Miata, Herta, and Chadwick are in front of him. There's some quick cars here, and we can see, I think Braden Perez, if he gets out into the front after this cycle of pit stops, I would not bet against this man because he's won here before. He looks like he has a really, really fast car here. That BMW is hooked up through the traffic. We can see Tuck, Keys, Malukas, Charette have caught the back of the field. Samadillo hanging out in the top 10 for the Audi. That's an awesome day for Audi. Otter Island Motorsports having a good run. RFK, this could be big in the constructors. Both their 2-car team is in the top 10 right now. That's a big shift in the constructors if they can hold on. Oh, here we go. William Byron, the outside pole sitter, hanging out in the back here. He gives away to his teammate Zilich, though, and there's nothing in between the 69 and the 48 now. It is on for the lead here in this hunt for the pack.
Yeah, these 2 have done a great job getting through the lap traffic. They kind of got the jump on third on back because they haven't even really started picking apart these lap cars. Matt Tuck just got by Jack Haas, so This is huge for these two, having putting that many cars between them and their contemporaries, but now they get to battle it amongst themselves. They're catching up to Nathan Stapleton, I believe. No, that's Thomas Troxel, 97, my bad. And you got the 11 of Rogel Dorn up there as well.
Oh.
Perez washed up the track a little bit. He's going to get up onto the outside, and if these lap cars start getting to the inside of him, that could be bad news for Braden Perez, but it looks like he's going to hold them off.
No, something I don't want to see, me or Duncan, I feel like, if we were trying to get around lap traffic, is that 77 car, after what he just did in Colorado, Shane Van Gisbergen, that, I mean, practically assassination attempt. So we know he doesn't like people trying to pass him, we know he doesn't like people who are in the lead trying to pass him, and if you're Connor Zilic, I would think you'd want to get Unk out of your way as soon as possible, especially now that Perez is stuck behind Thomas Troxel and Rogel Dorn. We're just gonna have to see it. Everyone's been pretty civil outside of Jack Haas getting almost ass-battered, so, you know, I'm feeling like some people are being a little more civil, just trying to hold it. Maybe people are gonna wait till the second part, really, the second portion of this race, just to try and start fighting for it. But, yeah, everything else seems pretty chill. Perez is gonna need to make a lot of time, though. I mean, there's 2 cars in between him and now, but Hamlin is kind of blocking the 48, which might help him out. It's really down to what Nathan Smith's going to do.
Yeah, it's Zilic can like get himself some space, but he can't seem to break through that line, if you know what I'm saying. Perez's car outside of that ooh, 3 wide. Perez is getting a little dicey. He's getting a little dicey. That's his old ride, that's his old teammate, or both of his old rides and old teammates. Oh my goodness, Perez just 3 wide by Nathan Smith and Caleb Rose. He's on a mission. He wants to be the first one down pit road. He doesn't want these lap cars in between him when he goes down pit road. He wants to get by Connor Zilic, and when that caution comes out, he wants to be leading them down pit road. 53 laps here under green. We haven't seen a caution yet as fast as Xfinity 10G 500. Another fantastic short track battle here brewing. 48 of Connor Zilic, 69 of Braden Perez, two of some of the finest short track races we have in the series, as they are just continuing to slice and dice this lap traffic here. Here comes Zilic, here comes Perez, it's Stuart Gratton. They have lapped all the way up to the 28th position, 27th and 26th of Schumacher and Sawallisch are right in front of them. That's Drew Webb up there, by the way. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is going to hold him up. Sawallisch, is he going to hold up Zilic in the 48? Oh, I think he's going to just enough for Perez to get a little bit closer. Here we go. Here we go. Perez is going to be all over the back bumper of that 48. And let's see if this time, if he can make the move work.
Yeah, here he is under Sawallisch, but Sawallisch is giving him some problems as well. But Braden Perez should get past him. Mick Schumacher is not an easy lap car to get around here for Connor Zilic, and that's another thing. As we get up through these lap cars, they're going to get harder and harder to pass because they're going to be faster, so they're going to give the leader more of a fight. And look at this, Braden Perez is on the back bumper. He might be looking to make the pass here in 3 and 4. Couldn't quite find the gap down there quite yet, but he's definitely putting forth an effort here as Zilic is kind of stalled out with the lap cars for the moment.
Here we go.
And here comes Perez down to the inside in 1 and 2.
It's going to come down to whether Mick is going to leave the door open for Perez, and I think he just did. Oh, man. That's going to be some mean words between Mick Schumacher and Connor Zilic, because he practically just gave Braden Perez a chance, and he got under him, and now Zilic is still within range. It just sucks that he ended up getting pushed out wide, and unfortunately, Mick Schumacher's there to block him. Other than that, all right, the 12 and the 75 are next. That means Chase Harris, the 12 car of Max Davis, are going to be in trouble. No trouble for Braden Perez getting around Max. Let's see what happens with Chase Harris. Chase Harris gets in front of him. That's going to give Zilic a chance. And, ooh, he's going to get under him again this time. So, we're back to what we saw not a couple laps ago, with Perez getting under, with both these guys getting under lap cars. But yeah, it's going to come down to another 2-wide situation, really to give Zilic any chance of passing Perez before caution. And I don't think it doesn't look like there's 2 people fighting right now that'd be worth going 2 wide and letting that happen. So we might have just seen Braden Perez take the lead. You know, exactly what you just said, Matt. He's going to take the lead. He's going to take first into the pit road at this rate.
which is what you want here. You don't want to be the 5th, 6th, 7th car heading down pit road here at South Boston because it just gets so chaotic with the tight, narrow pit road. Scott McLaughlin is up from last place to 12th. This is a fantastic drive for a guy who's really, really desperate to get his season turned around. Pato Award's having a decent day. Nicholas Samadillo carrying the Audi squad. Really, really awesome to see for him. Nathan Stapleton, Corey Hyde. Logan Williams is moving his way up. He's up to 15th. He's got the pit stop coming up here. Oh!
Oh, no.
What was that?
What on earth was that?
Byron's got a problem.
What's happening to Byron? Uh-oh.
And he's going to get in the way of Zilich.
Oh,
I don't know what on earth happened there to William Byron. I mean, he's coming into the pits now. I think he was trying to pit last time by he has a fuel system issue.
Oh, he's got an issue. That is massive for Byron. That is not what he needed here in the championship hunt. It is definitely, there is an issue on that 24 car. And now if you're Connor Zilich, you now are kind of sweating bullets. Now let's think about this for a second. It's not going to matter really in 2 laps
SVG.
because he'll get his lap back. But Braden Perez has caught Shane Van Gisbergen. I mean, the 69 and the 48 have been in a different galaxy here to start this race. He's not going to lap SVG, but they'll have lapped half the field here as we come to the caution. First caution of the day here, the mandatory halftime caution here that we throw at South Boston to keep some of this pit road chaos under control. Braden Perez and Connor Zilich are absolutely in a class of their own.
You gotta believe
And
it. Brennan was right on the money.
I think Braden's going to get the jump down pit road. The pace car hasn't. Are they going to reshuffle the... Are we going to get the grid stacked up first? I think we're going to get the field all packed up, and then I think we go down pit road. I guess we'll see.
I'd like to point out, I think, Brendan, you were exactly right on the money with what happened with Byron. He had that fuel system issue and just got stuck on the outside at the worst possible time and had to do an extra lap so we could get a clean jump into the pit area, and that, in the end, held up Zilich, got him dropped, I think, 2 or 3 cars behind Perez because just Byron ended up having to move at the worst possible time, and oh, okay.
Those are all lap cars staying out. They pit the next lap, so all the lead lap cars
Hopefully we don't get too much chaos. Hopefully we don't get too much chaos.
Pray on it. Let's see.
Most of them, I think, most of these lap cars, I think, are going to start entering pit road here, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue. Yeah, we should be okay. I don't think we're going to have any... Look at the line of lap cars. That's impressive. You got to hand it to Perez and Zilich. They've been flying throughout this race. Perez drops a jack.
Oh, he hit him.
Oh.
Did he hit him?
Might have scraped him, not significantly, but that was a close call there. Very tight pit road. Sometimes you do get collisions, but that one seems to have been negligible at worst.
We'll probably have to run a few laps to sort the field out, folks, because again, this track is chaos.
Uh-oh, Newgarden got spun under caution.
Oh, hello. Hello. Well, we're going to take a break. We have to let this sort out, and then we'll be back here in a couple laps to get the second half of the As Fast as Xfinity 10G 500 underway here from South Boston. Well, here we go. We got to get the field all sorted out, but we're going to have 46 laps to go. It's Braden Perez, it's Connor Zilich, it's David Malukas, it's Matt Tuck, it is Leah Block up in the 5th position, Cam Waters, Blake Keys, Joseph Newgarden, Ladova Charette. Let's get back to the action here at South Boston. There goes Perez out with a big old jump. Tuck's looking at the bottom of Malukas. He wants to take advantage of these tires and go up there and try and contend for a second South Boston win. Zilich has gotten it done. All 3 of the top 3. The top 3 have all won here before, so they're all experienced at this racetrack and know how to get it done. Here comes Cam Waters, though. Blake Keys is back in the mix. Ladova Charette, Newgarden, McLaughlin, Pato. Oh, this is going to get really spicy and dicey here early on.
Yeah, I noticed Blaine Keys made a big jump to the inside off the initial restart. He didn't gain anything from it, but it definitely surprised me. Charrette's getting put up on the top by Joseph Newgarden. Scott McLaughlin following suit. So those two drivers trying to make some moves here on this restart. Newgarden's going to make the pass. And up front, the two-car Blaine Keys now getting underneath. There's the 92 who had to go into the pits after a scoring error under the caution. And now he's in this battle here trying to get his lap back. That's going to be interesting.
Gotta believe for Zilich, this has got to be the most annoying thing ever to have a scoring error now put what is essentially a lap car between him and Perez. I'm sure he'd love to use Lundgaard as a pick, but I don't think that's going to work because Lundgaard just is not getting the speed that he needs to get around Perez. So Zilich is just going to get more and more frustrated. They already have the Byron issue, and now this. You gotta believe he's going to try to get more aggressive if he wants to either get Lundgaard in front of Perez or get around Lundgaard.
Cam Waters, he's been making up spots.
And I said something before the broadcast about RFK Racing being a surprise top 3 contender right now. Cam Waters is really because of that, because we kind of expected Joseph Newgarden to have some good stuff going on, but look, like, Cam Waters, he's in 3rd. He's in top 10. This would be huge, especially since, you know, we haven't really seen Shane Van Gisbergen anywhere near the top 10, so a podium for him is huge. And right now, he might be catching Zilich, too. Not entirely, but he might be getting there.
Cam Waters, I truly think, is the unsung hero of Stock Car World Cup. I think Perez's old 92 car is going to get to the inside of him. Oh, I don't know if he's going to be happy about that. You might just want to let this 92 go because Zilich and Waters are going to be there. Cam Waters, in my opinion, really is the unsung hero of Stock Car World Cup. The man did not race in the first seat, was not on the grid in the first season. He has, I believe, 8 career wins heading into this race. He has one of the higher winning percentages. Again, didn't race the first season. He has been absolutely fantastic. And here he goes. He's going to get a twofer. Gets by Zilich. Now he gets by Perez. And new leader here at the front. It's Cam Waters. Our first time seeing one of these Mustangs here lead today. And don't look now, folks. Here comes his teammate, Joseph Newgarden, RFK, on point here today. Here comes Braden Perez's teammate, Logan Williams. The 2-car squads of RFK and Red Bull Verstappen Racing are looking to make up some serious ground here in the Constructors. If both of these car teams could get their drivers into the top 5, that would be massive shifting in the Constructors and really get them into the hunt here. Now, how is Waters going to deal with this 92 who's on fresh tires and seems to have decent enough pace to be a holdup here? It's a double podium now for RFK. And here comes Pato O'Ward, was runner-up last weekend at Colorado. Man, it's like we got some big-time players here finding their way to the front of this field here. Here comes Drew Webb trying to break into the top 10 with Scott McLaughlin. Driver of the day stuff here from McLaughlin from last into the top 10. He's been excellent as he's trying to turn his season around. Charrette is still gaining big time in the championship on Van Gisbergen. But Cam Waters is going to dispatch of Christian Lundgaard very quickly. And I think Joseph Newgarden is going to try and get around Braden Perez here. We could be looking at an RFK 1-2 finish here. They are absolutely strong here late in the going.
Look who else is flying up through the field. It's the 7 of Pato O'Ward. He's just got by Zilich. He's going to move up into the 4th position. And he's also had an excellent restart. We're seeing a lot of these Mustangs going up through the field. So they definitely seem to have a lot of pace here in this second run. He might have a run at Braden Perez here to try and make it a Ford 1-2-3 as he's closing in on that car. Newgarden caught up to the back of Lundgaard now. We'll see if Newgarden's able to get around and join his teammate up there. It looks like he's struggling a little bit, so this could be another opportunity for Perez and Pato to try and gain positions. Logan Williams is making his way through the field, knocking on the door of the back of Matt Tuck, and a Grat Autosports sandwich right now as Charrette is also behind him. This could be a spicy battle for 6th brewing here soon. Oh, Charrette all over the back bumper as they both go a little wide. That'll give Tuck a little bit of breathing room, but looks like the 18's also got himself into the top 10 as well, so that's 3 Grat cars up there, so that could be big for the Constructors for them as well.
I mean, thinking about like second half adjustments. Everyone getting to that one pit stop may have just helped the one team that could make the right adjustment at the right time. And, oh, well, as soon as I say that, Joseph Newgarden gets pushed to the outside by Braden Perez, and that's probably going to allow Pato O'Ward and Zilich to get by him at this point. Unless Newgarden, I mean, turns a hard left right now. I don't think he will. So there goes Newgarden. There goes the RFK 1-2. But, I mean, it really is second-half adjustments, especially in a race where there's a competitive caution. And right now, Pato O'Ward and Cam Waters have definitely, like, just got the team aspect of this down, because now they're, I mean, look at that. There's the lapped cars already. Waters has already caught them, and he's probably, I mean, I'm not going to say for sure, but he might get to the draft of these guys faster than these guys can get around Lundgaard, which would be an absolute help to him winning this race.
Even if RFK can't get a 1-2 finish out of this, getting both of their cars in the top 5 in the Constructors when they are trying desperately to catch up to the Grattan Autosport monster, to catch up to Shane Van Gisbergen, it's going to be monumental if they can hold out a double top 5 here and seal this out. And by the way, Verstappen Red Bull Racing was in a dead heat with Hendrick Motorsports in the Constructors. Their 2 cars are in the top 10, top 6 right now. So they're on for a great day in the Constructors that can massively shift the swing of momentum here. 2 of the Penske Williams cars are moving their way here through the field. Shane Van Gisbergen is just outside the top 10. He's got time to find his way. Stuart Grattan, I think, is key to note here. It's still in the top 20, which is big for the Constructors. He's definitely been sort of holding his team back from being able to overtake Action Express Racing and the Constructors. So to get a good day here for Van Gisbergen is crucial, but if you're Braden Perez, the time is now or never, because this is where you made up all of your ground on Connor Zilich on the early part of this race, was he could get through lap traffic quicker than Zilich could. He's going to have to get to that lap traffic and start working his way, or just hope that Jack Haas and Denny Hamlin go too wide and hold up Cam Waters here for a few laps, because Cam Waters, that car, whatever they did under pit road, has made it an absolute lightning rod. He has set sail here. 21 laps to go here in this race. It's not looking like anybody's going to catch him here.
There you see him dispatching Denny Hamlin right now. Jack Haas, again, giving the leader trouble. This time he's just kind of, he isn't really holding him up that much this time, but he's proven very hard to pass here on this racetrack. But I think Cam Waters is willing to sit behind him as long as he's able to match his pace. But Cam Waters is looking like he's trying to get rid of him immediately. Oh, he almost turned him. Oh my goodness. Tempers flaring. He wants Jack Haas out of the way. Never mind anything I said before. They're catching up to Dorian Pin now. Looks like they're both going to get to the inside. Braden Perez might have an opportunity here, even though Jack Haas isn't being as much of a roadblock. This could still be a good chance for Braden Perez to gain some spots. He's passing a couple of the lap cars back there.
Oh, he's
but
closing.
He's going to need to pass more of them faster. On the back bumper for Corey Heim right now, trying to get past the 44.
I mean, I don't know what the parallels could be. I'm not as well versed in this, but yeah, no, Jack Haas being a complete nightmare for Cam Waters to pass him. Ooh, this is gonna be interesting. He tries to go outside. I don't think he is.
That's not good. That's Max Davis just blew a motor here on the front straightaway. Can he get down to pit road without causing a caution? He's gonna get down pit road here. Is that gonna open the door for Braden Perez? Is that going to open the door for Perez? That definitely made the leader check up there for a second. It was 1.4 seconds last time by. Oh, he just closed 3/10. That might have given him an opportunity. Perez is going to have to be absolutely electric here as he slices and dices through lap traffic. But Cam Waters cannot get by Jack Haas. Jack Haas has been Kevin LePage today, or Ryan Newman. I don't know however you want to describe it. He has been absolutely unpassable here today as a lap car. But Waters opens the gap back up a little more this time, and this is just the stuff that makes this track so exciting. As we see, Drew Webb is now in the top 6. But where did he come from? Electric second half, and done.
SVG is in the top 10.
The points battle. SVG in that Peach Red Bull car. He's closing back in. I don't think he's going to catch Charette, but this is going to be big for him to limit some of the damage that would have happened had he finished outside the top 20. up here at the front of the field. It's 10 laps to go, Eddie, and I just don't know. It's close, but that's a lot of cars for Braden Perez to have to pass.
I don't want to say it's going to take a caution, because the caution would actually screw him more at this point, especially since we are coming towards the point of no return. Like, at this point, look at how much space Cam Waters has to work with, especially once he gets by this 0-1 of Alex below. And then you look back at what Braden Perez has to go through, and
oh my goodness!
Oh my God! He crashed!
Chase Harris up and over!
Well, I asked for a caution, and I got one.
That is not what I had in mind. Holy!
The O2 ran into him.
Oh my goodness.
That jump scared me. Goodness gracious.
Okay. Well, we're gonna try and get this sorted out as quickly as possible. We have to work very, very quickly to get some of these. We're only gonna clear out the top 10 for lap cars. We're not gonna get this whole pack cleared out. Oh my god. Braden Perez was having a great run, and then Chase Harris somehow went up and over. That might have been the. I was not expecting that. I was not ready for that. All right. RFK 1-2. RFK 1-2. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to get this grid sorted out, and we're going to get a short track shootout here to end it at South Boston. Well, here we go, folks. We're going to have 4 laps to go. It's RFK, United Autosport, Grattan. It's a Mustang party here at the front of this pack. I have no idea how this is going to go, but hold on to your horses. 4 laps to settle it here at South Boston Speedway. It's Waters, it's Newgarden, it's Award, it's Webb, it's Charette. Who is going to seal the deal and win round number 8 of the season? We're back to racing. 4 laps to go.
Garden jumped first, but Waters got under him.
Oh no!
Caution,
They crashed! They crashed! That's the race back to the stripe.
Restart.
They crashed under the restart here, and Cam Waters is going to come back around to the checkered flag. And as long as they don't crash,
think there's enough time.
Nope, there's not enough time.
Enough time to get restarted.
There is not enough time, so unless somebody crashes here under the yellow, we're looking at an RFK 1-2 finish here at the South Boston Speedway. Woo, what a wild turn of events.
Goodness gracious. I mean, we had a completely clean race for 125 laps, and then the race ends with 2 crashes in the last 10. Like, who could have seen that coming?
Well,
Biggest loser out of that is Braden Perez. Had a top 5 going. That's going to hurt in the points. Cam Waters came into this race. He came into this race in the 10th position in points. Newgarden came in 7th. They're going to leave up a lot. Award came in 4th, 123 back. He's going to gain a nice bit here. He's going to close in that gap. Drew Webb, Connor Zilich, Ludovic Charette. But it is Cam Waters for the 8th time in Stock Car World Cup history. He's going to come around. He's going to see the yellow, but he's going to see the checkered flag, and he's going to secure an RFK 1-2 finish here at South Boston Speedway as it's Cam Waters winning the 8th round of the Season 5. Joseph Newgarden, 2nd place, a 1-2 finish for RFK Racing, and they're going to try and crash again. Inspirational. I don't even... what a wild turn of events here. As Brendan was saying, we were perfectly calm. Everybody was having just a nice Sunday short track race, and then Chase Harris flipped over, and they decided we're not going back to racing here.
It did become a dogfight right there at the end, and I think the problem was, as we neglected to point out with 5 laps to go, Braden Perez and Tyler Reddick did pit under caution. And I think that's what caused the wreck, was that both cars had to pull out onto the track in front of, I think, just the back of the field. And it was not a clean exit for any of those drivers, and I think that's what brought out the caution. So, I mean, with how it goes, that's what happens. I mean, I said something about RFK Racing needing something this this race, or maybe in the next couple, what they got at this race of 1-2 is definitely going to help them catch Action Express and Grattan. And plus, it's their first win on the season, so congratulations to RFK. Congratulations to Cam Waters. This team made the second half adjustments, and he drove that car practically flawlessly for the last 60 laps to win a big one here at South Boston.
And Pato Ward in third was definitely not looking for that caution because he was passing Joseph Newgarden as they were racing back to the caution. He might have had something for Cam Waters at the end, and he had a really fast car in that second half. He just flew up through the field, but just the caution prevented him from making any moves on Waters. I would have been really intrigued to see how that would have played out if it had gone under green. But that's just how it is sometimes. Very tight racetrack. You're gonna get cars getting into each other. I'm just surprised it took so long for it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it was it was a crazy race. We saw Braden Perez and Connor Zilic, and then after that pit stop, I mean, Cam Waters' car just hooked up, and it went places. He was absolutely flying that second half of the race. You got to tip your cap to that team there for making the adjustments. And RFK Racing, that is our first teammate, or our first 1-2 finish by a team this season. So that's a big win for them. And they actually did, I mean, they won at the Bend for our Budget Down Under shootout in the preseason. So first official win of the season for them here in a points-paying race. I mean, again, I've been saying it. Cam Waters, all season, getting hurt by those bad starting positions. He has good race pace, though. He showed here today. He's got great race pace. That car is fast. Joseph Newgarden is right there with him. When they hook up together, they are a dangerous, dangerous duo. 5 Fords in the top 6 here. It was a strong showing for them. Logan Williams in 7th. Those BMWs do look like they have a lot of potential to unlock here. I know Braden Perez didn't get the result he wanted here today. But those BMWs are lightning fast. Kyle Kirkwood, a great run in 8th. Matt Tuck, 9th. Shane Van Gisbergen rebounds to a 10th. Blaine Keys, 11th. Not what he wanted, but still a decent day. Scott McLaughlin, last to 12th. There's definitely a lot of potential going there for that team. But next race, we're heading to Rockingham, gang. As this season starts to spin back towards some more traditional ovals here, what do we think this next leg of the season brings us?
Well, it's going to be a very interesting title fight for sure. SVG did a great job saving face here and getting a top 10 out of it, and what was looking like a great opportunity for other drivers to gain on them. And they did. There were a lot of guys that did gain on them, but not as much as we kind of thought, because SVG really struggled until the very end of the race. He turned it on when he needed to. He's going to keep the points lead, but you're going to see Ludovic Charette and Pato Ward close in on that gap. Joseph Newgarden and Cam Waters, great result for them. RFK Racing really turned it on in the second half of the race, and they managed to pull out a 1-2 there. Matt Tuck is third in points. He's going to gain a slight bit on SVG. He only finished one spot above him, though. So, but this title fight's been very interesting, and I think it's only going to get more interesting as we head into Rockingham. Kind of another edition of this little short track swing that we've been on. And Rockingham is going to be very interesting for the pit strategy there because the tire wear at that track is very extreme. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I think the pit strategy is going to come into play a lot in that race and just getting on the right one. And a very, very fun race here today, and it's only going to get better from here on out.
I mean, I know the last 10 laps of this race could be considered a storm, but I feel like this race might have been the calm before the storm. We had a leader out by a hell of a margin. We had just everyone else just trying to fight back in the title picture. But now, I mean, with Waters, New Award, Webb, Zilic, and Charette, 6 members of the top 10 finishing ahead of Shane Van Gisbergen, plus what Matt Tuck getting just a couple points extra on him. I think Gisbergen's going to be more aggressive. I think a lot of other drivers are going to be more aggressive at Rockingham, knowing that Action Express Racing does not have the best short track expertise. And I think there might be some tensions in the garage after what was an insane final 10 laps. So we might see a more chaotic version of this race at Rockingham with people trying to just, full battle royale fight it out for the win. And I'd expect a lot more dents all over these cars when they come back after however many laps it is at Rockingham.
No, it'll be a fantastic race at Rockingham. This race won't be, the next race at Rockingham won't be on AG the channel. The next time we're planning to see you guys here on AG the channel should be in a couple, or probably about a month or so, for the Carolina 600 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll bring you guys, we're not going to make this a weekly, every race is going to get on the channel. But we have some big ones coming down the stretch of the second half bit of the season here, and we'll definitely be bringing them to you guys. But as always, join the Discord, the Yacht Club, to watch some races. Maybe we'll stream some of these in the AG Discord, just for funsies. But thank you to Eddie Dobbs and Brenna Wilmington for joining me here today on the call. And again, thank you to Alex for letting us put these races here out on his channel. This has been a blast. I know you guys loved that first one last weekend at Colorado, so to get another one here for you guys is awesome to see. Congratulations to Cam Waters on scoring the victory. Until next time, we will see you guys at Rockingham. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.